Welcome to the first episode of Brutal Truth. My name is Stephen Craig and I will be your host. Many of you may know me from my involvement in the music industry as a co-creator of the heavy metal band Slayer. Others may have heard my name mentioned as a world-famous artist. If not, soon you will with the release of my novel, Ghost of a Rose. The talk show begins with a pre-show, and then the phone lines are open for discussion. I'm going to begin with the subject that is a pet peeve of mine, the gold diggers. And where do most gold diggers reside? Los Angeles, the city of angels. Now there's an oxymoron if I've ever heard one. A recent poll on the internet asked, where do the most shallow people on earth reside? Los Angeles came in at number one with a whopping 81.89%, claiming it is the most morally bankrupt place on earth. Los Angeles has rightfully earned the reputation as the land of plastic drones, where everyone wants to be a director and are controlled by greed, false imagery, and instant gratification without thought of consequence. A narcissistic society that sees no wrong in their behavior, a subhuman culture where practicing the 7 deadly sins is a way of life. I made the comment to a friend of mine that Los Angeles may very well be the modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah. He laughed. Don't you think it's ironic that a city that is full of Marxist liberals, religious hypocrites, narcissists, money worshippers, and cultists are sitting on a ticking time bomb? The end of Los Angeles would be a cleansing effect, kind of like a laxative, flushing the country of all the crap. That was harsh, but let's look at why the city of Los Angeles has become the land that has forgotten how to love. For starters, and most important, very few people in Los Angeles know what real love is. They think they do, but their perception of love is that of a false love. The requirements for this false love are but few. Men seek the blonde Barbie doll, and women cater to this by reinventing themselves by the way of surgery, and some go as far to where nothing about them is real any longer. Most men in Los Angeles are only attracted to looks. What is inside matters not. The woman could be a bumbling idiot, but as long as she maintains her outer appearance, he will tolerate her lack of structure. By nature, the more beautiful on the outside, the uglier on the inside. Just the opposite can be found in the Midwest, where some of the most beautiful, wholesome, loving women reside. Most single women in the Los Angeles area have been bred to believe that love is found only with men of wealth. I say single women because there is a reason that 60% of the women in their mid-40s are still single or in a short-term romance. The first question that comes to their mind when first meeting a man is, what can he do for me? Malignant narcissism. I know of one woman whose grandmother married for money. She taught her granddaughter that love does not matter and told her to only marry a doctor or lawyer so her life will be easy. Pushing 50 years old, she is still waiting. What a waste of life. People in the Golden State are controlled by greed. It's all about money. Who has the gold Rolex, the newest sports car, etc., etc., etc. There's nothing wrong with the person being concerned about their financial stability. A long-term partnership means depending on each other through the ups and downs, and being financially reliable does help with that to a degree. First up, let's go after the gold digger. The difference between a gold digger and someone who values your role as a provider is that the gold digger would deride and perhaps leave you if you lost your ability to provide for them financially. A good person can appreciate your financial resources, but a gold digger appreciates only that and will not see the relationship as worthwhile if you're not well off. Does money buy love? That is a question that has been pondered upon throughout generations and is vastly debatable. A subject that many despise and have strong opinions about, always sternly responded to with either a yes or no. no uncertainty that would allow a possible maybe. Each time the question is answered without hesitation, and there's absolutely no middle ground for discussion when the question is presented. Notable are the conflicting conclusions, which are expressed with heartfelt conviction from opposite sides of the field when it is asked. Strong beliefs that are firmly expressed on the subject either way and offer a response that may possibly reflect that person's moral values. This one seemingly simple question possesses neither a definite or proper reply. Whether good or bad, yes or no, either direction has a double-edged sword attached to it. An age-old question with only two possible answers, but those two simple responses are reached through hundreds of different viewpoints. Yet either answer stirs an immediate and emotion-filled need to justify it based on the life experience and morals of those being quizzed. Every individual has a theory and a warranted reason for their reply. The majority of people respond with a no, but that is a loose answer because in reality for some, who are looked upon as shallow, is that money will actually buy love. But that isn't true love, and it doesn't mean they are in love, and in those situations, neither party really wins. Money can in fact buy temporary happiness for most. A sad statement, but true. Most occasions, the desire for love and this money-induced happiness clouds thoughts and emotions, in turn making it feel like you're in love. But true love cannot be quantified or materialized. Many would give up everything for love, while others would firmly attest that an overabundance of money could bring them anything they desire, including love. But is that really the case? Can love truly be bought? True love is meant to be unconditional, therefore the mere act of buying it erases the base concept. It seems the fast-paced world of today looks upon love as being unimportant. Some need love to live, while others look upon love as being disposable, temporary, and easily replaced. They have created their own gloomy existence by never yearning for or knowing the power of true love. Too many things are easily discarded in our current society, and sadly, relationships have fallen into the trap. There are so many who feel that a sufficient amount of money can buy love, but in truth, they are merely renting the illusion of love. True love cannot be bought. It must be given freely and unconditionally. A simpler way of looking at what is taking place around us is that the majority of the human race is seeking instant gratification, settling for a false love, and being content with short-term happiness through temporary monetary gain. In reality, that will buy a person security, but that safe feeling will eventually turn to emptiness of the heart, leaving that person wanting and craving a true love that they may have passed up or sacrificed for money. Money can and does buy the physical act of love, but not the emotion that one embraces with all five senses, nor the heart, mind, and soul. In true matters of the heart, money plays no part. If it does, is it not then a love of money? So many people are guilty of worshiping wealth and are damned by committing the deadly sin, greed. A deeper analysis shows this also links these individuals to performing two of the other deadly sins that go hand in hand with greed, which are lust and pride, all the while stressing to others that they are in fact good people, a lie that they have convinced themselves of and strive to make those around them believe. Sadly, these individuals will end up dying miserable, lonely, and alone. What I believe is the cause of the demise of my relationship with the woman I adored is what made this question arise within me. I needed to seek out the true answer because I refused to accept that she would allow the desire for wealth to supersede the truly deep love we had for each other. Getting by and working together until the recession was over should have been enough to keep us together. My own morals and beliefs have always led me to believe that you stand by each other's side no matter what when you're in love. A prime example of the importance of the marriage vows, in sickness and health, for richer or poorer, until death do us part. The vows that we have all heard a million times, and for me, were just words until I realized the true importance and interpretation behind them. But she proved that her love for me was not real. My own encounters have presented me with the examples and answers to the question on both ends of the scale. Here is a common example that most people have seen or commented on when you ask, does money buy love? You see an elderly, balding, and overweight man driving a brand new, eccentrically acquired high-dollar boat or car. The obvious and only reason for owning such an object is for a show of wealth, which is what many refer to as a penis extension. A penis extension is an overly expensive material object for them to flaunt in order to compensate for the lack of something within themselves, used as a cover-up for the lack of personality, looks, morals, or the inability to give their heart freely. Sitting next to this man is a beautiful young, cover model-looking woman. Witnessing this, one could assume that, yes, money can buy love. The first thing that usually pops into most people's mind is, gold digger. The term gold digger is used in reference to a woman whose love can in fact be temporarily purchased. He will in fact never own her heart and is only renting it because the gold digger is there for one reason and one reason only: money. In his mind, he was able to momentarily buy love, but the gold digger is nothing more than an actress and a prostitute. Eventually he will get tired, bored, and resentful of her, knowing the only reason she is with him is due to his money. He will eventually cheat or simply move on to the next woman impressed by his wealth. That is a sure bet. I'm sorry if I offend any of you lovely women hearing this that may be in a relationship with an older, wealthy gentleman, but the harsh, ugly truth does hurt with the ferocity of a scorpion's sting. I found it amusing as I researched this topic how and when certain events occurred, like pieces of a puzzle fitting properly in place. I even remarked that writers get paid a lot of money to make this shit up, and yet I'm watching it happen in real-life situations. One Friday morning, I was in my office working up an estimate for a customer. An ex-girlfriend of mine had come back into town the night before and stopped by to see me. When she entered the office, the air became thick with tension. Unaware to me at the time, this was due to an earlier encounter between her and my potential new customer, and would soon lead to answering part of my question. Jennifer had stopped at a cafe for breakfast that morning. As she was leaving, a group of men got her attention and called her over to their table. Jennifer, always being polite and friendly, engaged in conversation with them. She was invited over to Jesse's, the leader of the group's, house for a party that weekend, which Jennifer declined and left the building. Jesse had made it clear that he was interested in Jennifer and wanted to see her again. He was also the same person who would end up in my shop minutes before her. Not much was said between them at my shop, with the exception of comments by him as, "Didn't I just see you at the Red Onion?" and "Are you following me?" he said jokingly with a smirk. Later that night, Jennifer, Jesse, and his posse crossed paths again at a local nightclub. Jesse was polite and charming to Jennifer, but once again tried to convince her to follow him back to his house. She declined the invitation once more. Jesse tried to use his wealth as a way to impress her, showing Jennifer pictures of his Ferrari and offshore race boats. Many efforts were made to serve Jennifer drinks in hopes of getting her drunk. She doesn't drink alcohol and rejected these attempts, which are a typical ploy by players to get a woman intoxicated while trying to impress them with displays of wealth. all a game being played in hopes that it will lead to sex. These are the men that have nothing to offer a woman whose heart and desire crave love. They are unable to make long-term commitments and are hampered by the lack of the heart and soul that truly attracts a woman yearning to find a connection with someone to love them and that they can love back equally. Shallow with a damned soul, these men truly believe love can be bought. Superficial and heartless is the woman that can actually be rented. The question of her involvement with me surfaced. Jennifer knew I had gotten the job working on Jesse's boat and thought it best for everyone all around to just reply, I'd babysit his daughter for him time to time. We have a simple friendship, nothing more. Jesse was fishing to see if we had a deeper relationship that would lead to Jennifer informing me of his intentions. Jesse began making comments and insinuated he wanted to have sex with Jennifer, such as, I want to tuck you in and make you breakfast in the morning. By this time, Jennifer found out that Jesse had a wife and children, information that he offered up freely. Jennifer replied, I'm flattered, but I don't sleep with married men. You have a good time now. I'm going home. Men like this don't like to be shot down. It bruises their ego, making it even more of a challenge that they feel they need to conquer. Over the next few weeks, I was periodically asked about Jennifer and offered up nothing more than she was just an acquaintance. Eventually, I earned their trust, and they began to verbally open up to me. Because of what I knew and kept that knowledge hidden, they started to talk more freely with me. I felt as if I had actually infiltrated their devious and unfaithful little circle. All of them are married, and on the weekends that the wives didn't come out, it was playtime for the boys, looking for one-night stands and always flaunting the money as a way to attract women. Another question arose from this. Are there truly that many women out there that will sacrifice all hopes of finding true love for money and be content having temporary security by an unfaithful, womanizing spouse, a relationship knowingly to be doomed from the start and will ultimately end in ruin? Jesse's assistant really opened up and offered information to me in a short time. He began telling me of stories of their infidelity. I asked if he had ever been caught and was told yes on a few occasions. He laughed that when he did get busted, it would cost Jesse in the way of having to buy his wife a new Bentley to keep her at bay, in turn buying her forgiveness. Jesse himself began telling me stories and laughing about what he would not do to get caught. He thought it was funny that he would have to throw out all the shampoo and conditioner bottles in the shower because he wasn't sure if they belonged to his wife or whatever woman he had an affair with that weekend. So, looking at all the facts here, Jesse is constantly unfaithful to his wife, and she is well aware of it. Yet she stays married to him, which makes one believe she does so because of his wealth. Did Jesse actually succeed in buying her love, or did he just purchase her companionship? For the short period of time I was around them, if I were asked if his wife seemed as if she would be affected if Jesse disappeared tomorrow, I would most certainly have to say no. This case proves that money cannot buy true, faithful, and unconditional love. What happened to love, just for the sake of being in love? Love with no hidden agendas. Being a true romantic at heart, I found it disturbing when I read an article stating, evolution says, go for the men with money so your offspring can have more opportunities between the mother and father's income. In the same article, one person replied, within the limited scope of my experience, the female attitude clearly seems to be, if you got the money, honey, we got the time. When discussing this topic with my friend Patty, she made the statement, some women are like this, but far from all. I'd say the show me the money, honey modus operandi describes those more interested in an I don't want to work relationship. There are lots of women looking for personal relationships, friendship, romance, and love, and it is my experience that while money may be a factor they consider, this is far from a high priority or even a factor at all. Each person has different criteria for what they seek in a partner, and women are no different. Both male and female are guilty of concealing shallow moral beliefs. Men are mainly attracted to beauty, and women are more attracted to money. As absurd as this may sound, it doesn't seem possible to have the best of both worlds. Not that wealthy people are incapable of love, but there will always be the question in the back of their mind if that person truly loves them for themselves or the money in their bank account. There are those rare cases of love and wealth coexisting, but in most instances, couples are more likely to have a better chance if wealth is achieved together rather than walking into a relationship where one has already accomplished it. Driven by obtaining great wealth at an early age has a tendency to change a person's psyche and moral makeup, making them incapable of offering their complete heart and never truly understanding what unconditional love really is. Due to my involvement in the music industry, I learned at a very young age that money can't buy true friends or love. I was able to step outside the box and look in long enough to realize that the vast amount of so-called friends and love affairs were mainly due to who I was and what I had to offer. Realizing this is what made me become humble and want to hide my accomplishments. I just wanted people to befriend me and to be able to find someone to love me for who I am as a person. Wanting more opinions on whether money can buy love, I posted the question, if you were hopelessly in love with someone and you knew in your heart that that person loved you equally, would you let anything or anyone interfere with your love, including money and family? Pamela answered with, give up everything for them, without a doubt. Susan writes, yes, and I did. My family is very wealthy and disagreed with me wanting to move to another state to be with my boyfriend. I was totally cut off financially. I married my husband shortly after, and I'm happier and in love more than I ever imagined. We've struggled because of the economy, and his business is going up and down, but it is well worth it. That's love. Money can never truly buy happiness or love. The Beatles said it best with, I don't care too much for money, money can't buy me love. There are just some things that you can't buy, mainly happiness, health, and love. Having money can bring you some pleasure, but when your life ends, money means nothing. You can't buy genuine heartfelt love, since that's something that has to come from within. Wouldn't it be much better to live a life filled with love and happiness? You can't make someone really love you, and no amount of money can ever change that. Tiffany commented with, first of all, the finding someone to be considered as a soulmate is pretty much non-existent in one's lifetime. If God was to bless me to be so fortunate to finally find that special of love, my family and friends would understand, support, and be happy for both of us, no matter what. As for money, why is that even an equation in the name of true love? Pretty shallow question to even think or ask. The answer is, nothing would keep me from him, not even money. I would never leave his side. Disillusioned individuals believe the hype that money can buy happiness and love for them. But this is a self-destructive idea indeed, because being unaware of the lie, these people will continue to spend money to buy their happiness and buy love from others. But if they just look at what they are doing, they will see that they are stuck in an endless cycle where they spend money for temporary happiness and love which leaves them unfulfilled as soon as they have been satisfied. Then there are those just looking for someone to take care of them, putting their love up for sale. Sloth is the fifth of the 7 deadly sins and kills the sanctifying grace in the sinner's soul. Sloth is the failure to utilize one's talents and gifts, boasting a general display of laziness and indifference. Sloth is the desire for an easy life, not willing to sacrifice or work to better oneself. They are selfish and self-centered with a blatant disregard for the feelings, health, and well-being of those around them. Sloth is not considering making a sacrifice for someone else, not paying attention to the needs of others. These people have no heart or soul and will end up being judged in the eyes of God. If you encounter a slothy person, take notice at how they justify their every action. They are truly convinced and believe they are a good person. Disillusioned, they think that what they do is for the best, for themselves, without regard for the imminent damage they will do to everyone around them. They will lie constantly and believe in those lies, using them to attract an unsuspecting lover. Concealing their true intentions and extremely manipulative, they use love as a tool for an effortless life. This is one of the most dangerous people to be caught in a relationship with. Similar to the gold digger, but more like a vampire with the capability of sucking the life out of their mate, bringing them down to their level before moving on and leaving that person for dead. They will attempt to sell love, but that love will only last as long as they can continue to make their lives believable. This brings up the religious aspect on money buying love and happiness. The Bible points this out in 1 Timothy 6:10. For we brought nothing into the world, and we can't take anything out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. People who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge men into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some whose hearts were fixed on it have been turned away from the faith and have been wounded with unnumbered sorrows. Does money buy love? If a person thinks that money is going to buy them happiness or love, then they've already lost. Love is the one commodity that cannot be bought or sold. It is the most valuable and desirable of all possessions, and yet to give love a price undermines its true value and immediately renders it worthless. Having the means to purchase whatever and whoever you want takes away your ability to create lasting relationships. It strips your value as a person, as a human, and replaces it with monetary value. Combining love and greed is a true recipe for disaster. If you fall in love with someone because they can buy you expensive gifts or take you to fancy places, then you do not love that person. You love what they have and can offer. Soon to follow will come, "What have you done for me lately?" If you only love the money, then you have no idea what true love is. Love based on money is nothing but a broken heart in the making. Sooner or later the person will figure out that they are being used. Then they will see them for what they truly are. Money will not make a person happy. It will never buy true friends or find true love. Money can make a person think they are happy, but when it's gone, they will end up bitter and alone. Isn't it better to be broke and happy rather than to be rich and lonely? It's plain to see that money will not in fact buy true love. So why is it that money is the number one criteria for most women when pairing up with a man? Happy people tend to become richer and are more likely to find love in a steady relationship rather than the other way around. Love for a soulmate most certainly cannot be bought with money. So if it is found, why risk losing it forever? Throughout much of our civilization's history and in various parts of the world, those with limited options have been seeking wealthy partners who can provide for them, prioritizing financial security over other factors like romance, love, looks, and compatibility. The term gold digger became popular during the American Gold Rush. Times have changed, but the concept remains the same. Whether we like it or not, Many people still wish to find someone who can be a breadwinner for various reasons, so they can stay home to raise children, focus on a dream career that is yet to produce reliable income, or simply for material comfort. But just because you seek financial achievement and generosity in a partner doesn't mean you can't fall in love with or deeply appreciate that person for who they are. As more women become financially successful, fewer of them are interested in gold digging, but male gold diggers are becoming more common. At one point in time, gold diggers were looked down upon as shallow, heartless women that used her good looks to achieve financial gain. Again, she's nothing more than a glorified prostitute. But in today's society, where finding true love has become so rare, most people have given up on finding love, so they go for what is second best: money. Nowadays, both men and women think nothing of lowering themselves to mere scum. Websites are now dedicated to the gold digger and boast millions of subscribers. What the hell has gone wrong with this world? In conclusion, money does in fact play a key role in most of today's love relationships. Someone can love you for your money, but they may never love you for you. The true gold digger is a waste of time and air that we breathe. There is no saving their rotting soul. But for the rest of you out there that do have a good heart still beating inside, stop wasting your life away by searching for that dream man that doesn't exist. Wake the fuck up. Quit your whining and bitching about how that last lover screwed you over, cheated on you, and left you with nothing. Quit looking for Mr. High Roller GQ. He's just a fantasy, especially in these times of economic crisis. If he's flaunting his money nowadays, he's most likely living off of credit cards and one paycheck away from losing it all. Find a good man and build a future together. If you insist on remaining a shallow, empty carcass of a human, here's to you. Have a good time. For now. Okay, that's the end of my rant and the first installment of Brutal Truth. I hope you enjoyed it. If not, hate mail is always welcome. It gives me more ammunition for later shows. Oh, and by the way, guys, don't feel like you escaped this. You're next when we talk about this moronic thing you are doing by sending pictures of your dick to women. Till next time, and remember, love is all you need.